Look, there's been a lot of buzz surrounding the Chargers so far, right? They brought in Mike McDaniel to help take Justin Herbert and this offense to another level. They brought back Khalil Mack. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson to strengthen the defensive line. They extended all-pro safety Derwin James. They re-signed Tier Tart. They drafted Akeem Mesidor. They brought back fan favorite Tony Jefferson. And if you've been paying attention to OTAs, you would think one of those names would be the biggest stories coming out of that building, right? But it's not. The biggest story right now might be taking place right in the trenches. A silent battle that many are probably not even paying attention to. A battle at left guard. And that battle could have a major impact on the success of this football team this season. I'm Stacey, and this is Chargers Talk 4630. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, and thank you guys for spending a few minutes with me so I can share my thoughts on what I'm feeling after this week at the OTAs. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to help us continue to grow. And don't forget to check out my website at SLMExpressions.com, where you'll find Chargers content, NFL discussions, community conversations, hot takes, debates, and a whole lot more. Okay, let's get into this. I want to talk about something that may not be the sexiest topic on the football field, but it might be the most important topic for this football team heading into this season. I'm still watching clips from OTAs and listening to press conferences, listening to offensive line coach Butch Barry talk, right? Listening to Jim Harbaugh talk about competition. I'm convinced that one of the biggest reasons the Chargers could take a major step forward this season is because of what's happening right up front. Now, I know it's only OTAs, and I know everybody is in shorts. I know nobody is game planning, but that don't mean there ain't things we can learn. And one thing that's clear to me is that the Chargers is taking competition seriously. And nowhere is that more evident than the competition that's taking place at left guard between veteran Kayode Wasika and rookie Jake Slaughter. Now, I did think that Jake Slaughter would be getting a lot of first-team reps at left guard, but that's not what we're seeing right now. Kayode Wasika has been taking the majority of the first-team reps, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing because what it tells me is exactly what Jim Harbaugh has been saying since he got here, right? Competition is welcome. Nobody is handed anything. You got to earn it. And right now, Wasika is earning those opportunities. Now, Butch Barry said that Wasika has done a really good job. He's a veteran, right? He understands NFL defenses. He understands protections. He understands the speed of the game. Now, that doesn't mean that Jake Slaughter is not progressing. Absolutely not. Everything we're hearing suggests totally the opposite. The Chargers are moving him around. He's getting reps at center. He's getting reps at guard. He's learning multiple positions, and that's going to help him tremendously down the road. He's a rookie, and the speed of the NFL is different. We know this. The physicality is different. And sometimes development is not always about immediately winning a starting job. Sometimes it's about preparing a player to become a long-term answer. And what I find most encouraging is not necessarily who wins the left guard job. It's the fact that there's even a battle at all, right? Because last season, the team just didn't have enough depth. Joe Ortiz made sure that that would not happen again. He drafted offensive linemen. He signed offensive linemen. He brought back Trey Pipkins. He brought back Trevor Penning. And I know those names are not exactly fan favorites after last season, but here's what I think we have to remember. Those guys gained valuable experience, a lot of it. They faced some of the best pass rushers in football. They saw every type of defensive front imaginable. They went through adversity, couldn't pick up stunts. I heard a great player say that adversity is the greatest teacher in this league. The struggles was not pretty, but those reps, they matter. Those tough lessons, they matter. And now instead of asking those guys to save your offensive line, you're asking them to provide depth behind your starters. That's a much healthier situation for this team, right? The other reason I feel good about this group is because of Mike McDaniel's offense. It's not an offense that's going to huddle up, take its time, and slowly or methodically move down the field. Mike McDaniel wants tempo. He wants pressure on defenses. He wants the ball out quickly. He wants defenses reacting instead of attacking. I've heard McDaniel say many times, the goal is to strike first before the defense can adjust. That philosophy only works if your offensive line can execute, right? And that's one reason I think the hiring of Butch Barry was so important. Barry brings more than 20 years of offensive line coaching experience. He spent the last several years working with Mike McDaniel, so he understands exactly how the offense is supposed to function. He understands the footwork, the timing. He understands that that's the communication that's required to make this scheme work. That's a huge advantage for this team during this transition, right? And when you step back and look at the entire picture, this is not really a story about Jake Slaughter versus Kyoto Wasika. It's a story about a football team learning from last year's mistakes. It's a story about Joe Ortiz building depth, about Jim Harbaugh creating competition. It's about Mike McDaniel implementing a new offensive identity. That even sounds crazy as I'm even saying that with Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. But the main thing is that it's really a story about protecting Justin Herbert, because if this offensive line is healthy, if Rashawn Slater and Joe Art are on the field, if the depth continues to develop, and if this competition makes everybody better, then this offense have a chance to be one of the best in the league, one of the very best. The Chargers finally have options. And after watching what happened last season, right, that may be one of the biggest reasons this football team takes a major step forward. Just think if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt stay healthy, and this offensive line performs the way this coaching staff believes that it can, then we will finally get a chance to see this offense operate the way it was designed to operate, right? And for me, that's something to get excited about. So as I get ready to get out of here, I'll leave you with this. There's a lot that's focused on who wins the battle between Kyoto Wasika and Jake Slaughter. And don't get me wrong, that's an important competition, right? But I think the bigger story is what that competition says about the Chargers as a team. For the first time in a long time, this offensive line has real depth. For the first time in a long time, jobs are being earned and not handed out. And for the first time in a long time, if an injury happens, the Chargers appear to have players behind the starters who have experience and are capable of stepping in and helping this football team win games. Last season taught this organization a painful lesson about how important offensive line depth really is, right? Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh made sure they addressed it. Now it's up to the players to decide who earned those spots, because at the end of the day, this is really not about left guard. It's about keeping Justin Herbert clean and free from unnecessary hits. It's about running the football, and it's about giving Mike McDaniel's offense a chance to be everything we know that it can be. As always, thank you for spending a few minutes with me. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out all our exclusive Chargers content at SLMExpressions.com. Until next time, I'm Stacey. This is Chargers Talk 4630. Bolt up, and I'll see you in the next one.